Hello everyone, welcome to Pokédex, a channel where I build decks for the Pokemon trading card game. Today we're going to be looking at Lycanroc GX. This is a promo card. You have to get it from the Lycanroc box. And also the Rockruff is also a promo card, and this guy you have to get from a blister pack. So they're fairly hard to come by, I'd say. It's obviously not impossible because I got mine, but there's definitely some availability issues regarding this card. But it does have potential. I do think there are some good things going on with this deck. One of them is this guy is a stage 1, but it's also a GX, so it does take advantage of the EV illusions, so that we can hit a lot of damage. The card itself on its own is very good also. Like Crunch is a very good attack because it deals damage and you discard energy from the opponent's active Pokemon, so we can probably build something around that, around playing hammers and keeping the opponent off their attacks. Accelerock is a very decent attack, usually 2 hits everything, especially with fighting energy on. And then there's Lycanfang GX, which straight up just murders something, and you discard 2 energy, which is really easy to get back because this is a fighting type Pokemon and we have Carbink Break. So there's a lot of things going on that are good with this deck. I'd say the worst things are the fact that this guy is weak to grass, and the fact that it does need 2 energy to start attacking. So sometimes we are the ones on the back foot and the opponent is playing hammers or stuff like that, or they manage to just kill the guy that has the energy. We have a hard time setting off. But if that doesn't happen, this deck I think has a lot of potential, even for competitive play, and that's why I'm looking into it. So let's start looking into the deck. I am playing an evolution line, so we have 2 EV, and then 1 Flareon, 1 Jolteon, 1 Vaporeon. This is just used for typing. On the Umbreon decks, a lot of times we see the omission of Jolteon, but right in this deck, I think we have to play it. A lot of Pokemon that are weak to Lightning are resistant to fighting, so it does help us a lot to like knock out the Yveltals and the Lugias in a single hit. We have Vaporeon for the grass type decks. Once again, the CGI might be dangerous if they hit us, so we do need something to just knock them out of the game. And then Vaporeon, obviously for Volcanion. We are only playing 2 EV. Once again, it's not one of our attackers or anything, it's just here for the evolutions. We have 2 Shaymin because it's a consistency card. As you guys know, it's one of the best cards ever. We have 2 Carbink and 2 Carbink Break. The Carbink with Safeguard. There are a lot of decks nowadays that don't play that many Pokemon EX because of the Pokemon GX. But it's still good. I mean, against Yveltal decks, against Darkrai decks, against Mewtwo decks, they can damage change into it, but it doesn't get the damage. They just heal off their own damage, so it's still good there. Against Gardevoir, it's also a way to tank and build your game, so it's fairly good. Obviously the fact that it gets energy back is awesome, because at some point we might need to use Lycanfang GX, discard 2 energy, and then we just have to retreat into a Carbink and rebuild again. So it's like we spend the turn just to get energy back, and sometimes that's worth it. Our Lycanroc, we already talked about it. There's so much going on with this guy, so many good things. Pretty much everything is pretty balanced, I'd say, with this guy. Even the fact that it just retreats for a single energy is good, but the fact that it is a fighting type Pokemon and we can use strong energy just makes it super gravy. And then we have 4 Crushing Hammer, 1 Enhanced Hammer. As far as hammers go, we are also playing 1 Team Flare Grunt, so we have a lot of ways to just, like, if the opponent attacks us, even with a Pokemon that attacks with 2 energy, we can just use Crunch and Team Flare Grunt, get rid of their energy, or even if we're killing their active and they are building something on the bench, we can just Crushing Hammer away their energy, and that's amazing, I'd say. We're playing 1 Level Ball. We are not playing Nest Ball in this deck. I think Level Ball is a little bit better because it does grab us the evolutions. Nest Ball would only grab us the basics, and the Shaymin, it doesn't really matter if you get it with a Nest Ball because it does nothing. Then we have 1 Super Rod, allows us to shuffle some things back, especially some of the evolutions that might have been knocked out before. We are playing 2 Trainer's Mail. The deck is kind of stuffed. I do think there are some cards that maybe we can cut to fit the 3rd Trainer's Mail if we want to, but maybe we just go for the 3rd end, but we'll get to that in a second. For Ultra Ball, obvious reasons, 4 Via Seeker for the same, and 2 Parallel City. This is a disruptive deck and it's really good. Like, if the opponent plays a Parallel City on us, we have a Delinquent, and we also don't need that many slots on the bench. we can function properly with only 3. But obviously, if we manage to pull a parallel city first, well, I've won a lot of games just because of that. Like, it's super good to just restrain our opponent's space. A lot of decks really need the bench space, and we just cut it off, which is awesome. Especially decks that really rely on hoopas and all that to go off. As I mentioned, one Delinquent, this really gets the opponents. I think Delinquent is really good with strategies that get rid of energy. Because it basically, even if you're not getting rid of all their hand, well, when you do, it's basically, sometimes it's straight up game over. But even when you don't, just you're getting rid of their energy in play, and Delinquent gets rid of their energy in hand, and they are basically forced to play like a supporter to draw a card, and you avoid getting Lysander and stuff like that. So it's a fairly strong card in a deck that removes energy, I think. We have one X-Maniac. Sometimes we do need the X-Maniac to get rid of like a turn out of the Siege UI, stuff like that. We have to be careful though, because we stop hitting with our Eevee, and we stop the safeguard on the Carbink. But sometimes that doesn't matter, and we really want to cut our opponent out of stuff. But it is one of the shakiest cards in the deck. I have taken some use out of it, but it's still questionable if we should be playing it or not. But yeah, right now we are. It does help us deal with very annoying abilities from Pokemon. We have 2 Lysander, pretty much does what you expect it to do. 2N, 1 Professor Kukui is also one of the more questionable cards. The reason why I'm playing this guy is that I think it combines really well with Evolutions, so every time I'm playing Evolutions I'm kind of tempted to play Professor Kukui just because it's 40 extra damage. That seems like a lot to me, especially in a deck that sometimes doesn't have the 3 energy in play, and we need something like a extra boost out of Professor Kukui, and that's really good. Also, with a Lycanroc and 2 fighting energy on it, with a third of being a basic energy, Professor Kukui allows us to hit for 180. And I think that might be good in some games. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is irrelevant. The math doesn't really work out. But right now I'm playing it. It also draws us cards, so it's never like a dead card in hand. If it's the only card that we have, we might just play it and draw a couple of cards. Sometimes that gets us out of trouble. For Professor Sycamore, I also don't need to say that much about it. And then 2 Floatstones. They're mostly here for tempo swings, because if you look into my guys, they all basically retreat for a single energy, except for the Eevees, the basic Eevees, but you easily evolve into something and attach an energy and retreat from them. So everything else retreats from just 1 energy, but sometimes, especially in the early games, we don't want to attach an energy to retreat. We just want to attach the guy that is going to attack. So Floatstone comes in handy in those types of situations. And then we're playing 9 fighting energy, 4 of which are strong. Why wouldn't we? If we could play like all 9 strong energy, I think we would in this deck. Even though they are special, it doesn't matter much because we can bring them back really easily with a Carbink. That's the deck. Let's go play it. So for our first match, we are fighting against the grass and colorless deck straight away. Hopefully this isn't Lurantis, because it's going to be super hard to beat. They basically hit you for weakness. The hammers are not very effective against something that can bring energy back. So we start off with the Carbink, it seems, and okay, the opponent does not take a mulligan. Carbink against GX Pokemon is also kind of embarrassing, but we rather have it on the active. Okay, the opponent starts with a Shaman, and we are going first, which is great, so we will end here, because we have nothing else that we can play. And this... we didn't draw any card draw. I'm going to put this down, try to slow my opponent down a little, because if they're playing Lurantis, they need that. I am not putting anything down, because I want to higher the chances that my opponent plays an N here, because I kind of need card draw. And I feel like if I go down to, like, if I play the Stadium, it might make his life a little bit difficult and force him to play the N. And if I'm still at 4 cards, I think there's a higher percentage they will play the N, because sometimes people at 3 cards, they don't. I don't know, it's just speculation, but I want to make it as likely as possible. Plus the EV, like, oh, we're playing against CGI. That's good to know. I mean, the EV is useful, but usually we are not going to build it straight away. We wanna put it down when we start attacking, so that the opponent doesn't get our evolution with our Lysanders and all that. So the opponent is kind of going off. He's getting all the Rowlets and all that. And we see a Shaman. The stadium still hurts them. Not as bad as if they were playing Lorantis, because they need to play more Shamans down usually. But especially if they start with Shaman on the active, they would need slots for... Oh, they just attach and pass. That's great. We draw a VS Seeker, so I will end here for sure. Even if our opponent has nothing, we also have nothing, so if we were improving our board, like playing energy, evolving and all that crap, maybe we draw a terrible hand here. I hope this hammer hits. It's one of the ways that we can win against the CGI, is keeping him off energy, and we hit, which is awesome. I don't think I will attach here. I think I just Diamond Gift. Oh, well, we're hitting for 0, so might as well just pass the turn, but it doesn't matter anyways. Because next turn we can Sycamore and discard this energy over here. Okay, they get their stadium, which is bad news for us. But as long as we keep avoiding their attacks, I think we will be fine, because even 80 damage a turn is not the end of the world. The worst thing is if they hit us for weakness, which is 180 damage, and that's the problematic amount. Because an attack for 180 plus a single ability from the CGI, oh, they attach to the Shaman, which is actually pretty good for us, because that means that they are bringing the Shaman back to their hand, but nothing else. And they also lose their attachment, so to speak. Okay, we got an Ultra Ball, which is perfect, so I'm going to play it. Question is, what do I discard? I discard the energy and the Sycamore, so that I still have it via the VS Seeker, and I grab a Rockruff here, and at this turn I play the Pokemon, the Professor Kukui. Sorry, I also play the Pokemon, obviously, and I am going to use the Carving to bring the energy back. So it's like I still use the attachment even though I discarded the energy. We're really not furthering our board, but we are guaranteeing that we have the Lycanroc next turn, which is important for us. And since the opponent missed the attachment, well, they didn't miss the attachment, but they missed the ability to attach and attack, because they need two energy to attack. So attaching to Shaman doesn't really further their cause, so to speak. Feather Arrow on the Eevee, so if they didn't get the second CGI, that's awesome. So I think I just hammer, it fails. That's scary, but it's still okay. So I'm just going to play the Sycamore, draw a bunch of cards. Okay, we got a Flareon. Let's see what we get out of this. Yeah, I want it. Let's see. I have the Super Rod. This guy, even if he evolves, it goes up to 50. Yeah, it doesn't die unless he gets to the third CGI, so I think it's worth getting this down. Also have the Super Rod in case it does die. So right now, do I attack here? I think I will save my attack for next turn when I can Lysander out that the CGI and get the energy off. So this turn I'll just Diamond Gift. Although I'm not dealing damage, well, it's just a pass, right? It doesn't matter if we hit the Shaman or not. Feather Arrow, okay. Still on Flareon, no problem there. See an Ultra Ball. They're probably getting their second Decidueye. Yeah, we see Dartrix, so highly likely that they get their second Decidueye now. Still, they're not killing the Eevee, so we get a ship shot at something. hopefully, that the Decidueye over there. And the fact that they're not spreading damage to our other guys is good. Despite the fact that if they end up attacking us... Oh, N. Yeah, I don't really mind that at all. I actually like it. I like to see an energy and a Lysander. Okay, we see a Lysander, no energy. But we do have a Shaman. Although, yeah, I wouldn't play the energy, now that I think of it. Well, I would play it on the Rockruff that I'm putting down, not on the one that's going to attack. Because the opponent missed their attachment, which is really, really good for us. We could X-Maniac, but I think the play here is just take advantage of his missed thing, and with Lysander out that Decidueye, and attack with the Rockruff, removing the energy. Because what else can the opponent do? Like, they can kill the Flareon, but we can bring it back eventually, and if they're not attacking us, it doesn't matter how much damage we're dealing, I think. I think that's key to win this matchup, is just keeping him off of energy, so... I will Lysander out this guy. I think this is the correct play. Okay, let's go. Crunch. I will not play the Shaman, because there's really nothing... Well, I would like to have an energy, but if we don't, it's still okay. As long as we keep Lycanroc going. He's hitting us for very little damage. Oh yeah, that is there, okay. I want either... Okay, any ends, which is once again great for us. Because we would have to potentially play a supporter to draw cards, but now... Yeah, we still need to play a supporter to draw cards, but now we have an hammer, so maybe that hits. We hit one and failed one, so maybe this is time for another hammer to hit. And we play the hammer before the trainer's mill, so that we know the result before. Okay, that's nice. Imagine that we found a hammer here, and we need to know if the other one hit or not. Obviously we found nothing, but oh well. Don't want to put a carving down. I just want to N. Our opponents, doesn't matter. Let's play this level ball, getting an Eevee, I think. Oh, we have no Eevee, okay. Then might as well just get an evolution to discard. Yeah, maybe should have gone for the Vaporeon, but I think we're still fine. So let's just Accelerock here. I could have attached to the bench, but I think we're fine. Like, the opponent, even if we play an energy next turn on the bench, we are still in the game, because we can actually attach to the active, Lysander out the Decidueye on the bench, and use our GX attack on it. Oh, now we cannot. The opponent just removed the special energy that we had there. We're still fine. Like, okay, so they attach there to the bench. VS Seeker N. Okay, are they playing the N? Still, they're still helping us. Like, although this time around I did like my hand. Like, we have Lysander, which is everything that we needed, and now we have a pretty decent hand actually, because the Ultra Ball helps us, you know, with Shaman draw. Okay, so they switch into the Shaman, which is very well played from my opponent, and we draw a Sycamore, which I will avoid trying to play. I'll play this thing. Let's shuffle the Eevee and the Flareon before we play the Ultra Ball, because we want to get the Eevee, and also we don't want to shuffle Carbink or Vaporeon out. Okay, we get the Eevee. Next turn we might get the Flareon out, which is awesome. Here I'll play the Shaman, because I want to see if I get a Lysander to get rid of that energy, because that's how we lose the game, right? Oh, yeah, I think I got him. This guy. Yeah, I think that's the play, right? I play an energy on the guy on the bench and I Lysander out. The Decidueye that has one energy. Exactly the same play that we made. Like, I'm attaching to the bench because I think it's good enough. But attaching to the active would allow us to just take a knockout next turn with a Lycanroc GX, even if the opponent does something like play an N or a Delinquent, which is kind of scary. I don't know if they play any. But I think it's wrong to not play. Okay, so this means you're not playing a Delinquent, or else they would play it before playing their Stadium, I think. Professor Sycamore comes down, which is very good for my opponent. Maybe they can get their third Decidueye down, and if they do, our Eevee is probably going to die. Yeah, they attack the Eevee with the ability. Are they going to get it? Via Seeker, okay. I was scared to see like a Revitalizer or something like that. So, that's not a good draw because I want to Sycamore. But oh well, doesn't matter too much. We can bring it back. So let's attach to the active because if you need, yeah, we hit the Flareon, which is awesome. So we take a knockout on the active, and my opponent is in big trouble. He was already kind of in trouble, but now he's just. Okay, we don't care about N. Maybe we should have played an Ultra Ball, getting rid of some stuff from our hand that we don't want to draw again. Because I think that at this point we just want to see Energy and Lysanders to place our knockouts in the correct spot. Although I wouldn't mind killing a Shaman here. Oh, the opponent just concedes the game. Well, that was a good match. I mean, we just get rid of Energy. And that's pretty much it against the Decidueye. Their output of damage is not that great against us. Even a Tauros is not something that we care too much about, because we hit for weakness on that guy, so it doesn't matter too much. Just getting rid of energy is insanely good against that deck. Let's play another match. And our second opponent is playing a Fairy deck, okay. Fairy Psychic, I'm kind of thinking Gardevoir. We lose the coin flip, so we're going second. Carbink is good against Gardevoir, I'd say. Not really sure if that's 100% true, but start off with a Rockruff. We're not going first. I'd love to be going first. Okay, we see a Gardevoir, so our thinking is correct. We could also be like Rainbow Road or something. Yeah, Xerneas, they kind of have to go with Xerneas. And that Gardevoir that we saw there was the one with the Brilliant Arrow ability, which for us I think is scarier than the other one. But, well, I don't know actually, because, well, let's see what we draw here. Okay, we got a level ball, that's awesome. That's a Carbink. We only have one, okay. Don't really care about attaching to the Carbink this turn because we might. Oh, that's very good. Hitting heads on the energy. So we attach to the Rockruff and retreat. And I have the Carbink in my hand, so maybe I just Kukui here. Yeah. Okay, I drew Lycanroc, which is also very good for next turn, so we can evolve both our guys and then play a Sycamore. Opponent attaches again and plays a Fairy Garden, so he's going off with a Shaman, drawing 3 cards. We're fine. I mean, they can. Oh, the opponent plays an N. It's still fine. I mean, they can attack this turn if they Mega Turbo. Ugh, this N is not that great. I will be getting 1 energy back, but okay, so they do evolve, and that's the. And they didn't attach. Oh yeah, they attached to the Gardevoir. I forgot. Okay. Not playing the Super Rod, I'll tell you that. Us getting rid of energy is fairly good, I'd say. Because it's probably. I'm seeing 2 Xerneas right now, one in the prize and one anti-active, so I'm thinking that he might be playing the Xerneas break as well. Oh, he goes for the Guardy, so that means he has something like, yeah, Sycamore. Or else he would have gone for the Shaman. there's several ways you can build fairy decks. That's pretty cool. Like, you can go with either Gardevoir or maybe both on the same deck. You can play the Xerneas Break. You can play Rainbow Road, which is also a fairy attacker, although the deck is multi-type. I think we just evolve here and keep attacking. I mean, yeah, let's play this Rockruff in case my opponent end. I don't think he will end, but especially after playing a Sycamore, because his VS Seekers are much better this way. This is not a very good position for us. Ugh. So he's playing the Break most likely. And that's a very good way for him to get rid of our Carbink. We need to draw something good here. We really need to draw something good. A supporter would be nice so that we could get rid of his energy. Oh, that's also a very good draw. I will take it. Let's go Shaman. Not complaining about that at all. Maybe we should have kept that Rockruff in hand. Okay, we got an energy. We're not killing his dude on the active. So I think I'll discard this and the Floatstone, I guess. The hammer is useless, obviously. Let's go for another Shaman. I want to draw a million cards this turn, as many as I can. I want to get to the hammers, basically. And we still haven't played a supporter, so... Okay, we don't get the Grunt, but... Good Kukui. But the damage is not really that relevant, but I think drawing cards is decent. Without discarding this stuff. Okay, we got another evolution, that's fine. We got a Stadium to prevent our opponent from retreating if he doesn't have an energy in hand, which is decent, and we crunch. Even if he does find a Stadium, a single energy attachment doesn't kill our Lycanroc. So yeah, actually attach. Does he have a Stadium? That's the question. I guess. Maybe he plays a supporter. Okay, so he's going for the Sycamore. Yep. So if he finds a Stadium, he can hit us for 180, I think. 360, yeah, 180. So it doesn't kill our Lycanroc. And then we get rid of one of his energies, so maybe he's forced to play another one from his hand. And we can use the Lycanroc for great effect. Oh, it Geomancies, ugh. It's actually not that bad. I mean, he gets to an... If... Did he failed the Geomancies? Wow, he's dead, man. Yeah, the opponent just concedes. Like, I don't know if he was playing very few fairy energy, but we just getting rid of a couple of them seemed to have put a huge dent on my opponent's game, because maybe he had all the energy in hand, but failing the Geomancy there was brutal. He must have known how many energy he had. Like, he had played the Trainer's Mail, sorry, the Town Map, so he knew the amount of energy he had in each zone. So I don't really know what was up with that game plan, but we will take it. I mean, this deck actually gets a lot of games like this where we get rid of like a couple of energy and the opponent just gets out tempoed and they cannot do a relevant attack on us. So we would get rid of that energy on the active, which meant the Guardies would be useless. So that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So I see you guys next time. Bye.